Okay.
Today's agenda as presented.
All right, motion made by Commissioner
Second.
Vetch, seconded by Commissioner Potter. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
The agenda is approved. Consent agenda. Does anyone have anything they'd like to remove for further discussion?
Madam Chair, I just wanted to pull off C2 just for a quick comment.
I'm sorry, which one?
Item C2.
C2, all right. All right,
With that, I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
all right. So motion made by Commissioner Glyden. Is there a second?
Madam Chair, that would be the remainder of the consent agenda, right?
Right.
And so, Madam Chair, I just wanted to.
We should vote on
Oh,
it.
I think you did. Okay.
So is there a second on that?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Okay.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So Commissioner Vetch.
No, Madam Chair, I just wanted to thank the auditor, treasurer, staff, admin on their lot of heavy lifting to get the first set of payments out to the school districts, and the great cooperation and partnership between the school and the county on getting these CARES funds distributed. So it looks like we should be seeing some more of these more regularly for the weeks ahead. So my thanks to all those involved.
Yeah, I thank you. I echo that appreciation because there's been a lot of meetings and a lot of discussion and a lot of pulling the numbers together. So lots of questions answered for the school districts and the other entities that we're involved with too. So yeah, thank you.
Well, it's fun building a process on the fly, right?
So would you move approval then of that item?
Yes, I will make Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve those.
All right.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Commissioner Vetch, seconded by Commissioner Burrell. Any more discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Consent agenda is fully approved. The timed items for today, Mr. Bob Hevola, Auditor Treasurer.
Good morning, Board.
Morning.
The item on the agenda is to approve a tobacco license. This is for Super Tobacco 2 LLC in Delano. Proper documentation and fees have been paid, so I'm asking you to approve this tobacco license.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the 2020 tobacco license for Super Tobacco in Delano.
All right, motion
I'll
made by
second
Commissioner Delyden,
I'll second it.
Commissioner Burrell. Is there any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it is approved. And we have Mr. Matt Detchen, our Agricultural and Drainage Inspector. Morning, Matt.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. I am here to schedule the continuation of the public hearing for the reestablishment of records on County Ditch 13 in Buffalo Township. If you remember, we had that initial hearing back in February, and we received comments from the DNR who requested to do some additional excavation to find a tile line that we had included in the report. So we completed that work. Houston has made the updates to the reestablishment of records for that ditch, and so we're looking to finalize that, so hopefully we can move on to repairs for that ditch.
And when I was out on the site, Mr. Matt Detchen was very far down in the ground. Getting some rather unpleasant substances out of there. So that was quite a project, and Buffalo Township supervisors were on site also, along with the DNR and your assistant, and so, yeah, it was.
Did everybody kind of come to an agreement that that's where it was then, or?
Yeah, we found it, and it was an inch off from where we originally thought it was, so nothing
How
major.
deep were you guys down to find it?
I'd say 6 feet
Wow.
or below the ground.
It seemed like it was even deeper because it was kind of well over your head, so.
But what did the DNR think it was? It was not, they didn't think it was that deep, did they? Or-
Yeah, there was some confusion with that,
Yeah, it-
so. But we went and dug it up and found it and then buried it again, so.
Yeah.
now
Is
we
it
can
12
dig
inch
it up
tile
again.
or what?
Hmm?
12 inch tile?
12-inch, yeah. So there's two. There's the original clay tile, the 12-inch, that's 6 feet below the higher tile line there. That's still kind of functioning, but obviously 6 feet of difference is what's causing majority of that issues and why his barn is flooding out.
Exactly.
Yeah. Commissioner Potter?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Matt, is this the one where the barn was underwater? Kind of that corner, one that didn't make any sense. They didn't build a barn underwater with
No.
that line.
Yeah, that basin's changed pretty drastically over the last 20, 30 years. And, it's not only that, but, he has some livestock pens down there. That water's getting so high, it's flooding out those areas. And I know you guys know a lot about the issues with that, especially for water quality, when all those areas are flooded out. We went there and did surveying and, the cows were basically swimming, so.
But, I mean, it was good that we got that, you found that and proved to the DNR that it really was there and that was the original one, so it had to kind of jump through some hoops, but I
Little extra work.
appreciate you're having good high boots to get down there. Commissioner Potter?
Thank you, Madam Chair. If you would have had problems with the DNR this time, I would have had a nice little sit-down conversation with my dear friend Bob Meyer from the DNR. You said you wanted to work with us, you said you were going to cooperate, you said you were going to play nice in the sandbox. And so this is something like this, if you don't, I'm going to, hey, you got the facts before you, what's wrong with you? But it's good that they are going to rectify this and make this correct, because that's not fair for that landowner to have to deal with that.
We still could have that conversation ahead, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is, to reestablish the as constructed, subsequently improved grade, after this hearing, we still have to go through hearings for
Do the work.
repairs, which is obviously an appealable process, so we're hoping we can find something, to get some
Keep
done.
me
'cause-
posted.
Yeah, I mean,
Matt, did you have a suggested date when you wanted to do this? or-
yeah, I had it at the bottom there. Houston can do it October 6th at 11. It's after board on a
Madam Chair.
Tuesday.
I think we have
Commissioner Potter?
leadership that day, don't we?
Pardon? We have leadership that day,
Okay,
yeah.
Do it at 1.
Yeah,
October 6th.
unless,
And what do we have that day?
leadership, unless you want to move it to the 13th, or
1 o'clock that same day.
we could do it at 1 o'clock that same day.
I think, if I remember correctly, they were open most of that day, so 1 o'clock on the 6th would work.
Okay,
1 o'clock on the 6th?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion then that we schedule the continuation meeting for County Ditch 13. It would be a ditch committee of the whole, I believe,
all right.
for October 5th at 1 o'clock PM.
5th or 6th?
October 6th, excuse me.
Yep, okay.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Burrell, seconded by Commissioner Potter. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. All right. Motion passes. Thanks, Matt. All right. Mr. Mark Mattice, our Parks and Recreation Director. Welcome, Mark.
Morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Order of business today is to authorize signatures on a license agreement between Wright County and the Northern States Power Company related to a trail maintenance agreement within the Monticello Nuclear Generating Plant. This section of trail is just west of the plant, goes out to Acacia, if you know where that's at. It's to allow, they did a forestry project up there, buckthorn thinning and all sorts of forestry projects. It is part of the alignment for the Great River Regional Trail. This is to allow us to maintain that a couple times a year so that we can keep the brush out and stuff like that and keep that trail corridor established. The maintenance agreement, not a development agreement. When we get to the point where we're looking at developing sections of the Great River Trail, we'll have to go into a development agreement. But this will just save us a lot of extra work and time throughout the next few years. That project,
Madam Chair,
Mark,
cost on either side.
I was gonna say, that's the same one that's been there for many years, right? Or is it the same?
It's closer to the river.
Oh, okay,
The alignment up that you see when you're on 75 is the old railroad bed.
yeah,
A portion of that is used, but then it kind of cuts into the
Okay.
river and follows the bluff line out to Acacia.
all right, yeah, I was down there number of years ago, so I know it's right by
Like
the
old
nuclear
tars and
power
elms, they
plant.
call it.
Pardon?
They call it like tars and elms area, I don't know.
Okay.
They call it that, but.
Mr. Vetch?
So, Madam Chair, I'm just trying to make sure that this is still ending on the, before the sliver property that goes in the backyard
Correct,
of those people.
yes.
This is just the original,
Yep,
the one that they've been maintaining. And then, this is, I guess because there's still a lot of ambiguity out there as to where that next phase is gonna go. If
Yep.
it's going to go back out towards 75, or if it's going to go
yeah,
more.
this ends before that.
Yeah, no, I know it ends before that. I guess this is, because I know a lot of these, this is a kind of a contentious thing between a number of landowners there. If the next phase, if it's going to be going into the backyards of these homes, or if it's, that trail's going to go back out towards 75. I don't know that, I guess the long-term planning kind of has it more in like a, we're not sure kind of.
Right, we got a couple different alignment options.
There.
I think we've kind of taken that sliver piece off the table.
Okay. I guess that was just kind of.
So that's a positive thing?
It's a
To take
positive
that-
thing,
okay.
yep.
I'll make a motion to approve the signatures on a license agreement between Wright County Parks and Recreation and Northern State Power Company.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Deline, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Burrell. Is there any more discussion or questions about this?
Madam Chair, just,
Yes.
Mark, you've had our attorney look over this. Is it the same agreement that we've had before, or is it?
We've never had an agreement
Oh,
on
you
this
never have.
before. We've had a handshake, and we started doing maintenance on it last fall, and then NSP thought, well, maybe we should actually have an agreement.
Because if
Yeah.
somebody got hurt, that's why I'm reading
Yeah.
through the,
Yeah, so, yes, Greg Kreiser reviewed this document, made some comments, NSP adopted his request for changes, and,
okay. It looks good. Okay, that's all I have.
All right, any other questions or comments? Mark, did you have something? No. All right,
so,
hearing none?
have the agreements here today to get signed. I
Yep,
was told that
okay.
would expedite things.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Madam Chair, I do want to tell Mr. Mattice something, that I tell you, you're a very popular man on your path that you cut through out at Bertram this last week. I've had so many people just raving that that is finally done, and probably should have been that way originally. It's amazing the little things, how far it goes. It was,
Oh, yeah. Yep, for
When you
sure.
get threatened for your job by the, no.
Is that the one that connects Monticello's Trail to the Bertram?
it connects the
That's
parking,
our parking lot to the athletic fields. We had it cut in west. There's been traffic issues with so much park usage, our park usage, athletic field usage.
so this way you can get right from that south parking lot right to the fields without having to go down along the whole entrance walk to get in.
Oh, okay.
So it's becoming more of a safety issue because there's droves of people walking against the
Alongside that
traffic.
road, yeah.
Yep.
As long as Mark's here, how are we doing out there with the campground?
Building construction should be completed, next week. We can get the main power turned on, we can get all our inspections done, we'll move to a punch list on the buildings. And then, site grading's coming along very well. They got all the power pedestals in, all the rough grading done. I'll be putting in class 5 in a couple weeks, looking at, last week of October to start a punch list and be completed on that.
When are you hoping to seed?
We'll be seeding in October. We'll be seeding in October.
Oh, not
We'll be
till
doing
then?
Dormant seed in October.
Okay.
And, you know, at the time, you know, I'd like to have the county board come out and see the construction project, you know, schedule a little thing. So you guys can see how it turned out and stuff, probably sometime mid-October or something, if you'd like.
Yeah, I'd like to.
Yeah, from what I've seen when I've been out there, it's awesome. You know, that's the best word for it.
Turned out okay.
It's gonna be a very heavily used campground once it's up.
We hope so.
Oh,
Oh,
I'd be surprised if
Well,
there's ever any openings left in that one.
based on the number of people out there, I'd say last night there was probably more people out there at Bertram Park collectively than there was at a rock concert. I mean, it was. Go and look at that parking lot. Parking is at a premium.
They're all social distancing very well.
Okay.
I mean, people, it's, you know, one of the pluses of having people with, you know, the whole COVID thing is they're getting out and they're enjoying the great outdoors and discovering our parks and finding out just what we have to offer here. So
Yep.
that is an upside, so,
Yeah, if you're looking at it for a positive, I agree.
yep, so. All right,
Yeah, we didn't vote on that, did we?
okay. Thank you for reminding me.
I think so.
All in favor of approving this?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
For some reason I thought we did, but I'm not.
Yeah, I thought we did too. Copies? All right. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yep. All right.
Thank you,
Moving,
Madam Chair.
moving right along to our items for consideration, there are none. So our advisory committee, advisory board updates.
Wow, we went for almost a record meeting.
I think it's getting close.
I'm going for it. Nothing here.
Nothing, huh? Mr. Vetch?
Not too much to discuss. We had a relatively shorter Central Mississippi Regional Planning Partnership meeting last week. Mostly just trying to get our ducks in the row because we're going to have a earlier meeting this next month to facilitate moving forward with our round 2 of engagements. So in one of those those ones are going to have some in-person aspects that are going to be in conjunction with other local government entity business, so in conjunction with maybe a township supervisor meeting or a city council meeting and so forth. So more to come on that. Other than that, I guess I don't have anything else.
Okay. Well, I had to miss the safety meeting because we had our crime lab meeting at the same time. We only have 3 of those a year, so I attended that one remotely. And they had the election of a vice chair for the 2021 2-year term, and our sheriff, Derringer, was elected vice chair, and Sheriff Stewart from Anoka County is the chair of that. We went through a staffing update, caseload update, and grants, and they're working on the drug chemistry area remodel, and of course, things are coming in more expensive than they anticipated, so working through that. And also, we approved the 2021 year budget, and that is a 3% approximately increase. So our share of that is 21.37%, or $465,542. So that would be our share. So it's a little higher than we had in our budget, but they just do such great work, and when I kind of read some of the things that are going on there and what they're solving, and their turnaround time is pretty good. And we also had our Safe Harbor meeting. You know, we've been working on protocols for the different entities that are involved with the exploitation of our youth, and that's actually ready to go to print. So that will go to print in September, and we'll kind of continue to meet and see the resources we need and that kind of thing to help stop, slow down the exploitation of our kids. But that's about it. So, Commissioner Potter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First off, I want to reiterate on your crime lab, that brings value to the citizens of the quick turnaround.
Oh, yeah.
Which wouldn't be there if we had to take it to the BCA. So, with the
going with the little higher expense when you're doing remodeling. Right now, everybody's caught in that conundrum because prices of everything have gone up. Again, so I'm gonna reiterate, that's part of why to push to get that admin building done while we did. We hit that window, hit that sweet spot really good on prices and everything else. It's not that same way right now, and it's not for the foreseeable future. It's gonna continue to escalate. I mean, go and try to find some treated plywood or treated anything in Menards right now, or even a 2x4 is like $5 now. So it's everything's gone nuts for a little bit. But otherwise, with me, there was nothing last week, just budgets. And then Virgil put my name in the hat for a political advisory group for transportation. And one of our focuses is going to be a river crossing in Monticello. If I get my way on this, try to do a different angle and try to keep the pressure on to get that thing going. And hopefully in the next decade, we can see some serious movement on that actually happening. And that's all I have.
All right,
Very good.
Commissioner Leiden.
Last Wednesday, we met with, for technology, and there's a number of, current projects that they're working on, and some, new ones coming up. And we had a little soft phone demonstration, which we'll be talking a little bit more about that when all the minutes come out and stuff like that. But there's quite a bit moving along. The Contact Management Center at HHS, they're exploring a number of different options for that. And that could be utilized in a lot of other locations. And then I will let Administrator Kelly talk a little bit more about it, I'm assuming. I was on a online meeting last Thursday with Cyber and Administrator Kelly and Scott, and some frustrations as far as I'm concerned with this whole thing. Hopefully with Scott doing a deep dive, we're going to be able to come up with some movement on where we're going to be going with it. But that's about it.
I forgot to mention, we had a Teams meeting with the townships yesterday and got some questions answered, and people are quite impressed with Jolene Foss and her helping them get through some of these steps, and so that's good to hear. But also just want to add that I don't know if everyone got this email about yesterday was International Overdose Awareness Day, and the sad fact is 70,980 individuals died of overdose in 2019, and that includes nearly 800 Minnesotans. So the goal is just to raise awareness and also to reduce the stigma of drug-related death. So anyway, I failed to mention that earlier, but I think that that's good to continue to keep that awareness in people's minds and recognize, you know, the really good work that mentorship, education, and drug awareness is doing, you know, getting someone that will be working in the schools and continue to keep that forefront in our minds. So, Administrator Kelly.
All right.
One quick thing. Since today we have no board meeting next week, and the next board meeting will be on the 15th. And Susan, clerk to the board, last day is on the 14th, if I remember correctly. I just wanted to thank Susan for all the work she's been doing, taking minutes and everything, getting the agendas together for the whole time I've been on the county board.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll miss her. And,
Yep.
I don't know if there's any other way we can embarrass her. Maybe we'll hold off and do that on the 15th, just to make her want to watch that video when she's, you know, has moved on from the county.
And also Deb Schreiner, who's also been
Yep.
she's retiring or is leaving also on the 8th, and she's just been I mean, both of them, their ability to capture the minutes from our board meetings and our committee meetings has been, pretty amazing, because that is a special skill set. So we're gonna miss both of them.
Yeah, they both have been very
Yeah.
valuable
And
employees.
then everything else they do up there too.
Oh, yeah,
That's just
right.
small parts.
Right, that's just part of what they do, but, yeah, so.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't say enough. I appreciate their many, many years of service, and I tell you, they've added a lot of value to our organization over the years, and thank you both for all of that service, Susan and Deb.
Yep.
Yep, and I really do think we'll have to figure out something for the 15th, just to make them want to tune in, one last time. To figure out, how we can really embarrass them or something.
All right.
Yeah, I know you kick it to me and I have to try and follow that. Yeah, it's, I think you guys kind of hit the nail on the head there, and it hasn't all sunk into me yet. But again, I'll just reiterate what you said. I really appreciate the work they've put in for us in the admin department and the whole county over the years. And I knew someday this day would come. I didn't know it would be right now. So again, just thanks for all they did. And I've seen a lot of things at the county. There's been a lot of change over the time I've been here. And Susan's been with the county for quite a while before me. So yeah, it'll be different without everybody around. So anyway, transitioning off to that, as Commissioner Delyden mentioned, we did have a meeting with Cyber and ERP. Scott Weiland has been working with identifying some of those gaps between where we feel we're at, as well as where Cyber feels we're at with the project. They've provided us, or will be by the end of the week, their RTM, they call it, their requirements traceability matrix. So they have their documentation, kind of the behind the scenes, and we'll be able to work ours against that. So that'll take a little bit of time putting that together. One of the other things, we're engaging Maverick in some discussions on the use of their training as well. Had some brief discussions yesterday with Janine, the change management person, about that, and we'll be meeting with Maverick on Wednesday. So more to come on that. With ERP, circling back again to the CARES Act, last week we did meet. We're meeting weekly now as a committee to review the applications that come in relative to the CARES Act, so we can keep those moving on a routine basis, as well as going back and reviewing the expenses that have been submitted thus far for county items to make sure that those get coded correctly and reported for the state's reporting. So kind of getting our process nailed down and starting to move that forward. So more on that to come, I guess. I think that's what I had for updates for today. Go ahead,
Commissioner
A quick comment when it comes to the CARES Act for businesses. Is there like a one-page sheet that you could hand to a business that this is what we're doing? This is the website to go to or whatever. Is there something I can hand out? Because trying to explain this, I don't want to flood Jolene Foss's phone with a bunch of people calling up asking questions. If there's just a one-page sheet I can hand off to somebody saying, CARES Act money, here's what it is, here's where you go.
Well, I would.
And not make it too darn complicated, because if you start getting it too complicated, the people are not going to actually inquire.
I would suggest that actually that one-page thing just be put on the front page of the county website, or, so you don't have to hand anything to them. You can just say, go to the webpage, it's right there.
Maybe all your businesses look at the county website, and not all the businesses in my district look at the county website.
Well, no, they don't, but you can just tell them.
Direct them.
I want them to be aware of it.
Yeah, but at least that way you can just let them know, and you could print off of that too, but that way we could have a link and make life a lot simpler.
The businesses I've talked to already were very happy that somebody actually came and talked to them personally about it.
Yeah, I know, I talked with one too the other day.
I mean, because it's like this, a lot of them don't know that they're so busy trying to stay afloat nowadays, that they don't have time to sit and surf every website and every Facebook post and all that stuff. And you say, here it is, check this out. You put the ball right in their court that here it is. I'm handing you enough information, you should be able to take it from there.
The one that I talked with, one of them, that I told them that they should look at what, say, Michael is offering and what the county is offering. Because one of them might be better, because I think the St. Michael one, I think it's a grant where ours are loans.
No, ours are grants.
All right, we modified ours.
So it's, I couldn't remember which one, but I
Right,
told her, they need to look at
forgivable
both.
loan or-
Their limitation is less than ours, but there's certain nuances that might be beneficial for your business.
So that's why I told her, I don't know, is Albertville doing the same thing? With their CARES funding?
More than likely.
Okay.
All right,
So
Yep.
then,
So those, just kind of circling back, we'll get you a one-pager kind of on that.
just
I
just a
know.
quick, because there's a few of them I want to hit yet that I know darn well they don't go look at our website all the time.
Yep.
And they
Yep.
just want them, so they can't say later that we didn't let them know we did, they didn't know.
Yep, and there's already a good teaser out on the Wright County Economic Development Partnership about both the nonprofit and the business items kind of talking about. So there's a few requirements that are there, but pretty minimal. Of course, you got to be located in Wright County and demonstrate you're active with the Secretary of State, but those applications will be opening up on September 10th here and closing October 8th. So be prepared for that and work with Jolene here and get a one-pager to you guys. And, of course, cross-promote it on our own website, too, so.
sounds good.
And Madam Chair, so much for a short meeting.
Well, it is still short.
One other item
Okay.
of note. This Thursday, we'll have a workshop for Trailblazer.
Yes.
And this has to do, and Commissioner Vetch is aware of this, MnDOT wanted to, Heartland or whatever they call that up there, I sat in Chisago, did a listening session to see if Trailblazer could take that over, then they got it in a bidding thing with Arrowhead and us, and there's a lot of confusion on how to do that, some tight deadlines, not sure how that's gonna work, and we got partners we gotta deal with on this, so it's nice to have a little update. Invited Susan Morris and a bunch to come and check out our thing. So when they make their decision, whichever way they go, like they say down south, that don't make me know, never mind. Who knows that one? Whichever way they go, they're doing it based on facts instead of anything else. And if they choose to go Arrowhead, or if they choose to go this way, and the rest of our board says, okay, then that's a heavy lift for Gary and the bunch to get that going.
Yeah,
Either
sure.
way, they shoved impossible timelines on this at MnDOT. And it's tough when you're slammed into this because you want to try to be a good partner in that, but there's only so many things you can do. And so Thursday, a workshop, hopefully we'll get a few of them there just to see what they think.
It'd be interesting.
Yep.
It will be interesting.
So you'll be skipping a county to do Heartland?
Well, essentially, yes, because you're going kind of around Sherburne County, so it would be kind of an interesting deal with Chisago and Isani joining in with Sibley McLeod and Wright.
Doesn't make
Well, it's more from the standpoint that if,
management?
well, no, if there was ways to realign things better, it would be different, but it might take time to get it to what it maybe should look like from a transportation, I guess from an economy of scale. I guess I don't want to point too many things at this point because there's just a lot of discussions.
There are so many moving parts. Good luck on trying to cipher them all out. I mean, it's just, as if you didn't have enough to do, now you get this thrown in the mix. But, Gary's been a real good trooper on making that, try to work as best he can, but you just come out with scratching your head going, okay, what do you really want, MnDOT?
But I think a lot of it comes down to MnDOT's trying to get economy of scale in these rural transit systems. Instead of having these little onesie, twosie county combinations, they're trying to get a little bit larger so that they're not paying a small human resource director here, a small one here, and being able to get more of a robust backbone and being able to have one larger centralized accounting to work with instead of having dozens of them across the state that they're trying to do all the auditing and accounting with.
Which is why they wanted us to be in Trailblazer in the first place,
Yep.
join Sibley and McLeod, because they were smaller counties and we're a larger one, and it's certainly most of the businesses in our county. All right. If there is nothing else to come before the board, we are adjourned at 9:35, and we have a committee of the whole at 10. Thanks, everybody.